Oops, you don't have permission. Dashboard. Am I live? What's this window do again? All right, I am live. But how do I check that dashboard? Why is this showing? Oh, it's not. Why is this window showing up on my stream? Well, I'm not sure if it is actually. Oh, this is what is this? Huh. 1, 2. I'll get rid of this window. Oh, this is OBS. Oh, all right, whatever. Still, look how big it is. Taking up all the bloody screen. Put it over here. What's this window? Why is this chat window here? Is this on my stream? Something blocking my close. Close. All right, it's just another window. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now watching. All right, whatever. Okay, just relax. I'm back. This light's too bright in my face. Ooh. Bring it down. You can actually change the color too. It gives me a bit more color. I've got to prepare some lessons. 1, 2, 3. I was going to do this, so composition lesson. How much of this do we see? Oh, let's get rid of this window. If I bring this up here, you can see what I'm doing. Doesn't give me much room to do much. I've got to Google Sites, get onto my site. Pages, composition, basics, composition. So we ended up with this one, lyrics. All right, composition 3. All right, I'm going to just duplicate this page. We're going to... I'm not sure what I'll title it yet, the lesson, but I'll just call it composition 4 for now. Composition 4, I don't have a thumbnail yet. We're going to do composition from the previous composition 2. Well, that's going to be previous composition 3 now. Anyway, what did we get up to with this song? So I'll just get straight into the song. So I've got a copy of this now. Oh, this should be, let me just edit this page. I'll turn it to 4 composition. 4 structure. I'll just call it structure because I guess I got to develop a structure for this song. All right, so we've got the introduction, we've got verse. All right, so we're going to add more to this song. So I guess we're going to want to have put in a sort of like a bridge. You'd want a bridge in some, break it up a bit. So just shove bridge there. All right. So Eventually, we're going to want to use some of the stuff we've developed on our website. So composition, but what's the resources, applicators? Oh, where are we? More. Well, click that. Let's remember to get there. Research. We're going to be doing a lot more here. Compositions. What have we got on compositions? So we're going to be developing some stuff that we can use in our compositions. So what did we start with this? Oh, let's have a look here, actually. This is interesting. So all the modes. Oh, okay. We're just looking. Oh, so this is our research page. Maybe we'll do a bit of this. Maybe I'll do this instead. We'll see. We'll see. We can go back and forth. Now, I don't know if this window here. Oh, there's another window here. Oh, chat window. I'm not sure if this is the chat for my website, my live stream. Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, that's fine. We'll just close that. Oh, so that appears there. I don't know what this thing is on OBS, but it doesn't matter. I don't know why it's got that. Well, you need to go to your control center. Maybe. Anyway, what are we doing? All right, well, I can see it there anyway. So if we get into pages, research, composition. So we've only got a single page here at the moment. I could probably put these under submenus too down the track and I do more. All right. So we started off with so these are the formulas for the modes, the harmonic intervals, and okay. So we're going to look at a blues hexatonic, right? Pure modal scale is Aeolian, right? So we're in key of C. There's Aeolian, right? But we remove the 2. So we start with that first, removing the 2. You can sort of hear the bluesy when you remove 2. 1, 3. And we're going to add. Oh, we're going to remove. Well, we're going to remove the +5 also, right? So we've got the 2 removes there, right? Which is the F here in this case, and the B. And we're going to add a -5. All right, which is here. So there's a bluesy sound. So that's our scale. All right, so we broke that out. So we got the harmonic formula for that, right? So is there, but it's easier to work with pure modal scale because we know our modes. We visualize modes. So that one there, if we're in the key of C, that's a nice slide down. So we're ignoring the +5 there, +5. Aeolian mode, and the 2. We removed those, right? Okay, so let's have a look, right? So there's 1, 2, 3 operations there, right? To think of it as Aeolian. So we broke it out into all the modal scales. I've got less. I'll probably do another lesson to show you how to do all this properly. But I'll have to get a lesson for this. Anyway, the Locrian is the least amount of operations to remember. So the same scale is a Locrian. So that's the Locrian in the key of A. Start on B. We remove the -2. Right? There's no -2. So it's 1 minor 3, right? 1 minus 3, which is up here, right? 1 minus 3. It's got there's a 5, there's a 4, right? 4, there's the 5. It's got a 5 in it. Locrian, sorry, it doesn't have a 5 in it. Oh, there is a 5 in this. We've got to add, we're going to flatten something? Flat plus 5. Oh, okay. What? Is this correct? Let me check if this is correct. So where's this? -3. There's a 4. There's a -5. It has a -5 in it. That's good. It's got a 5. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's the 5, right? It doesn't. The formula has a 5, but the Locrian doesn't. So, but we have a that's a +5. That's a +5 there on the Locrian. Okay, we're flattening that, and that's how we bring in the 5. We flatten the. That's how we bring that in. So we're not playing the +5. So we are playing these, right? Oh, wait. We flatten the +5. Oh, we're not playing that. Now there's the bluesy scale. There we go. And we're not playing that. So we have a sort of a slide here, right? But now the black note is up here, and it's a slide going from the 5, the actual the 5th to the 4 to the -5, right? When that's the so we're Locrian here, right? So we only have to remember 2 operations. But slides are important too to determining which key you're in, whether you want to use a slide here or a slide here. This is a slide going from the 5 to the -5. In the Aeolian here, it was a slide going from, we're adding the -5, right? Now, it's a slide going from -5 to the -3. So it's a different black slide. So your choice of modes you're going to use to play this scale might depend on if you want to slide on the black notes and the white notes, because you can't slide up from white to black. You slide down. So whether you want to slide down here, and you're going to use the Aeolian, this one. Whether you want to slide down here, or you might want to slide down there, and in the Locrian mode. Now, if you're in the Locrian mode, right, you're in another key. Okay, let's say we're in Locrian, so we're in the key of B here, right? And we determine that by just, remember, the Locrian is the next one up. So if we're going to be, well, that's in the key of C, but why did I choose B here? Oh, that's correct. Yeah, B in the key of C, right? So it's B Locrian. We're in the key of C here, right? B Locrian in the key of C. And by choosing that, we're sliding down here. So we're sliding from a 5 down to a -5. Because a lot of the slides are going to be quick. It's coming out of the Locrian mode. So it's still the same scale we're playing. Right? So it might be easier to remember the Locrian because it's only got 2 operations to remember. And you know your Locrian, right? In the key of C. So you just got to remember to remove the -2. And the only other operation is we need to add in that 5, and we don't have a +5 in this, right? See there's no +5 in the formula. There's only a 5. So we can go from a +5 on the Locrian, just flatten it to the 5. So we're just going to remember we flatten the G to the G flat, and we don't play the C. A lot of the time it's a visual thing. So once you work out the theory, you're relying on your visualization. But you've got a lot of understanding now that how you can fit in these scales into different keys signatures and what mode you're in that key signature. So you've got a choice here. Well, you've got a choice of all these. You've got a choice of 7. You can fit this scale into any of these, but you can see there's more operations here. And it wouldn't be wise to remember it as a Mixolydian with 4 operations. This is too many operations to remember. It's much easier just to pick the minimal. So you might choose between the Locrian, or you might even choose the Aeolian. It's got 3 operations. You could even choose the Dorian with 3. So 3 operations is probably the most you want to sort of remember. You don't want to remember too many more. So, yeah. Let me just... I don't bother about looking at the stream because I don't expect anyone to show up. It's more, it'll be just... Yeah, so there's... Well, I'm just talking to myself. But it's all learning. All right, so... I might put that... What are the chords just... Although we're starting the key because the B chooses the F sharp spicy note. I'm going to put in another consideration is the slides going from black to white notes. The Locrian has a slide going from the 5, going from 5 to -5. No, it's getting hot now. Put the fan up a bit. I've had a terrible heat wave here, but I haven't been here, thank God. But my plants have really suffered. The Locrian has a slide going from, so yeah, but the Aeolian has a slide going from the -5 to the Aeolian. Yeah, so the 5. It's going from the -5 to the 4. However, the Aeolian has a slide going from to 4. Because black because we're coming out of the black notes are coming out of the key, right? If we chose Locrian or Aeolian, we're in the key of C on both of those. Right? So so Locrian at least has the music. All right, so Locrian, so choices. So I'll just put some choices we can do here. We can go possible choices. They're going to be these, right? They're going to be, and it's probably going to be a Dorian too. You're going to choose a Dorian. I know this is very theoretical stuff, but it's all designed to help you understand and play. So I'll just turn that into there. All right, so these are all in the key of C, right? So a Dorian's going to be D Dorian. It's going to be Aeolian and B, all in the key of C. Of course, it doesn't have to be in the key of C. If you choose another key, the slide positions will move, right? The black notes would move depending on the key signature. We've just chosen C because it's just easier to visualize and sort of understand. If we get more into other keys, well, then it might be, if you don't know that key signature, that scale well, it could be a bit more confusing. So C is always a good key to sort of start with. I'll just publish that page. I really like Google Sites. It's easy to work with. I'm sure there's limitations of it, but so it never shows up until you actually possible choices. Here we go. So we have possible choices, right? If we chose, say, a Locrian in another key, we can note where those. So let's pick, say, A, key of A, right? So a Locrian would start on G sharp. So we end on G sharp, right? So that's the key of A. So if it's a Locrian and it's a remove -2, well, we're going to remove the A. And we're going to, and also, so if we're going to look at, we're in the key of A, but we're just applying this, flat +5. So the Locrian, right, has a +5 up there. We're going to flatten the +5. There's to the fifth, because it has a fifth, right? We've got a fifth here. There's no +5. So we have to flatten the +5. And we're going to remove, we're here, sorry, Locrian key of A. And we're removing the -2nd. So we're just visualizing, at the moment, we're just visualizing the key of A, right? We're visualizing the key of A. We're playing the Locrian, which starts, right, on the G sharp. But we're still visualizing the key of A, the Ionian. We just got to know where to stop. So we can visualize all the notes we need to press, right? Right. That's the beauty of these pure modal scales, because they tell you just what to do. You start with a Dorian mode in any key, and you visualize, Locrian or whatever, whichever you're doing, you visualize it, right, in the particular key. So at the moment, what I'm doing is, I'll just copy that. Well, I'm just giving you an example, but I could write it down, I suppose. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so in the key of A, so have a look here. That's Locrian. But we're stopping on the F sharp. So we've got to remove the -2, which is the A. We've got a bit of bluesy things happening. And we're going to take, first we're going to locate the +5, right? So yeah, so there's the +5 because if we're on a G sharp, if we're on G sharp, the fifth's there, right? So that's a +5, but we want to make it a fifth, so we're going to introduce the note D sharp, and we're not going to play E here. Oh, we're up here. So it's a bit awkward. We got the note that comes out of key, right, is already a black note. And sliding from a black note out of key back into key can work as well. Right? But this black note here is in the key. So we're in the key of A, right? But we're in Locrian mode. So we're not playing E. So we can look here, we're not playing E, so we're playing all these black notes here. So visually we can go, all right, it's the two white notes on both groups on the left side. Sorry, the two black notes on group 1 and group 2. So they're what we're playing. So we're thinking about new ways to visualize this scale. Now that's easy if I just muck around playing with those notes, those 4 notes. And then I know that, right, we're in A, right? We're not going to press the key A, right? We're going to have the B. So the note B we're pressing, we don't play the -2, so we got these black notes. So we're memorizing now which notes we press for this scale in A. So we're doing, I'll write it down what we're doing. I'll put it here. So we'll go, another consideration is the -5. Let's put it here. Let's try another key. Let's try the key signature A. So it's going to be G sharp. G sharp. Locrian. All these. I'll put it in the same font. Same font. G sharp. Locrian in the key of A. Cap lock. All right, so that's what we're mucking around with at the moment, right? Key of A. That's the key of A. Locrian in the key of A. We're just starting on G sharp and ending on G sharp, but visualizing the key of A still. And then we're just removing the -2. Which is the A note. Oh, wait a sec. We're not. I've already added that in too. So we've got another scale right here because we haven't yet flattened the +5 yet. But when we do flatten the +5, we now have these black notes, right? The first group 1, all the black notes are group 1, and the left notes are group 2. And the note B. The note B, we don't press A. We're not pressing that. I like this. I like the A because it's using all these black notes here. So anyway, depending on what key you're in, you know, slides might work or they might not work, right? Well, here, right, we don't have a slide. We don't have a black slide because we're not coming down to a white note actually, right? Because that's in the scale, the flat minus 5. So we're not sliding to another white note here. We don't have any slides, black to white slides in this key actually. To think of it, there's none. So depending on the key signature, you might have a black to white slide, which is within that scale, or you might not. So you can choose a key signature to give you that if you want, right? So if we chose A, we don't have one. I like it when I shove in you can hear that minor second. It's just an e-cigarette. What's all the chord choices? Well, chord choices all can depend on what key you're in, right? So we're still... So we were in the B Locrian, I think. I think we're still... Okay, that doesn't... Chord. I'll just go chord choices here. This is just a research page, so... Oh. Chord choices for... Why is this in... What's that including you? All right. So B... So back to Locrian in the B. Right, which has the -5 and the 5. -5, 5. We're flattening the +5 to give us the 5. So we don't play the +5. We don't play the -2. We play here, because that's part of the Locrian, which is the -5. We play the 5, the -5, we don't play the +5. And we don't play the -2. I think the A was easier to visualize, because it's easy to visualize the two black notes, but then you don't have a slide going from here. Don't have that slide. They're nice too, the slides. Okay, so we're not doing anything with rhythm or anything. We're just working out the notes to create melodies and things. The rhythm's something different. Because a blues scale has got its rhythm as well as the melody. But when you're writing a song, you want a good melody, right? You want to have a nice melody. The rhythm, obviously, rhythm's going to add a lot as well. Anyway, I don't even like that much blues, to be honest. But I do find it interesting, though, technically. I have to go. I'm going to come back. I don't know. I'm going to leave this running. I'm back. Oh, summer's really hot out here. It's not very pleasant. Let's go back to the composition that we're doing. I'm going to prepare some lessons structure, eh? Well, we're also going to put some more words into this. So a bridge, you're going to have a bridge. You're going to obviously have a chorus as well, right? It's just it's a chorus. What am I doing? It's a song. Sorry, one back in the beat. Okay. So you're going to have a chorus, a bridge. You might even have an instrumental. You got an introduction. Introduction is similar here to the actual first verse. So tries very sad to start on. And then we come out of key here. 2. So we're on E. If we're on E and we go to 2, 2, 2. So we're starting on a 4 here, right? 4 on the E. We're on an E. 2 live, and it goes up. So we're up a tone there. To live, 2, 2, 2. To live your, back to the 1, your life, sorrow. So that's a 5 there. So we're going to be -5. Oh, we're staying on the same note. To live your life, sorrow. Yeah, that's it. So we're just on the same, vocally the same note. To live your life, sorrow. And then we're going sorrow. And then with the 2 here. There was. I don't know if I should go down to the 2. Sorrow. There. I'm not sure if that works now because it might even better to stay in the same note. To live your life, sorrow. There was. So because it goes right down to here. You've just got to practice it to see if it's going to be better. To live your life, sorrow. Oh, the same note. To live your life, sorrow. There. Oh no, that's the wrong note. There was. Put it a bit high frequency. There was a time I knew. That's nice. There was a time I knew. Then we went to a 3, right? Oh, we're going to add more words, right? So that 3 there on the F, 3 on the F, so we're here, right? Go to the D minor on the minor 3rd. 6 there on the G, 5. So I'll go to the 6. All right. Yeah, nicer. Yeah, 6 is nice there. We just muck around with these. We just muck around with this. With a bridge. We need a chorus. Itchy back. I hate that. So these live streams, you can just chill out. There was a time I knew. Yeah, I like that. It goes up. There was a time I knew. Another way to be. There was a time I knew. Another way. Oh, that's nice, actually. Another way to be. Oh, why did that? Oh, because it's continued with that. Another way to. So we're in. Korean U is a good font to use because it's evenly spaced, so you can line up characters, which is really useful. So we're putting a space here, right? We should always put a space because sometimes you have a minus as the first, and I usually line things up like that. Back here, 1. So I usually have one little space in case I have to put a minus, and I usually put the minus just in front, and I line it up here. But it's not a minus there. Another way to be. Oh, let's practice that. So another way to be. So we've got to line these words up here, right? So let's see how this is going to line up. There was. So we go from the 3. Oh, we're on the F, right? It's there. So we're going there to the 5 to the 6. 2, 5, 6. There was a time I knew. Another. Now we've got to choose. Like we've got to fill a note. We've got to put in a filler. So there was a. So a lot of the times, if you pick some nice words, some words that sort of you like, you've got to fill in the syllables now with notes. Time I knew. It should maybe even go higher. There was a time I knew. Which are we going to go to a 6 or go to? I think maybe a 4. Well, let's try this. So we're on F. There. Where are we? So we're on F, right? We're here, right here. Sorrow. So we're starting here. There was a time. There was. So that's a F. There was a 2, 5, 6, right? There was a time I knew. Another way. All right, now we've got to choose the right melody notes that's going to work with another way. And I think the way, well, I'm not sure if we're going to do this, but Cool. How did I bring that up? So let's just move all this over to give us a bit of room. So we're on F. There was a, and when you're working this out and you're singing to it, it's a good practice too for your vocals to get your head used to and the muscle memory to that melody. There was a time I knew I don't want to do the 3. I want to do so. There was a time I knew another way. So it's all going to revolve around this little F and another. So there was a time I knew. That's nice. The 5 is nice there. Knew. So we've got a choice of going a second on the major chord, or we could go time I knew. We could even go right up here to the high 3. So my new no another way. That's pretty high. I won't be able to sing that high. Time I knew I'm not sure whether to do the F, chord F, or maybe I'll do the change first. Like that. There was a time we're on the F. There was a time I knew. I do like the 4. I like the +5. The -5 is nice. Sorry, that's a -5 there, right? F. I like the -5. Another. You could go to the -5. You could go -F. Let's try that. So we're going to go to the -5. Up to the 6. 6. So we've got 3 syllables. Another 6. And so we're going to go F. So F. So to the 6. Another. Down to the 3 maybe? Another. Let's try that. So we're still on the F. There was a time I knew. F. You also got to choose things that are going to work with your vocals as well, with your particular tone. All right. But of course, if it doesn't, you can practice it to make it work. If it's not working straight away, sometimes you just practice it and it will. But another. I don't like this. So time I knew. I like this, changing the way. Or we could go. All right, so I've got to choose now the melody for another, right? I do like that, but is it going to work? There was a time I knew. That's just great, that. I love that. That's good, that first bit. And then the chord changes. I like that too. So there was a time, there was a time I knew. F changes. Another. There was how are we gonna? There was a time I knew. Another. So new. How we're gonna do another, right? Time I knew. We could do the anchor on the same note, or time I knew. Another F on the -5. Another way to be. Oh, that's nice. That's going to work. Way. Oh, the E minor is nice on the E minor on the -3 is nice too. Well, let's try that. Time I knew. So I might not be able to go up to there. So if I just do a 2. Time I knew, the time I knew. Another way to be. Oh. To be. B is the G on the 5, maybe. Put a G there. So get rid of the G there. And then that won't be a 6 anymore, right? Way too. Definitely a 1. Definitely. Way to be. So we're on F. There was a time I knew. I gotta pick this another. New. Another. Maybe far out. Time I knew. We could go to this low 6 or the low 5. So try it. Time I knew. Yeah, low 5 I think is going to work. Another, then 2 and then the 1 maybe. I think that will work. Another. So the low 5. Another way to be. So, but then it's not joining here very nicely if I choose that. So let's try that again. I knew. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 2, 5. I'm going to swap them around. Another way. So 2, 5. Oh no. What? Oh, no. So, all right, we're almost there. So, F, another. So it's either going to go to the 6, probably to the 6. Another way to be. Just swap these around. I think that will work a bit better. Way, and then a -3. All right, so we'll try that and just practice that for a little bit. Just publish that. You don't lose anything with it. It does a save anyway, even if you don't publish it. Another way. Just open that up. Where are we? Okay. My new another way. G's on the 1. Time I knew another way. Another way. I'm not sure if I'm liking E minor now. Way. I knew, because we changed the melody note, it's not going to have the same interval appeal. I knew. Another. I like that now. High. Another way to maybe put it back to -3. Oh, bring that back. Time I knew another. I like that. Another way. No. So that's working with my voice now. I knew. Because I can stay on the same note too, which is nice. Way. Time I knew. Another way to wait to be. All right, we're going to put the E minor here, and that's going to go to time I knew F another. Shit, time I knew another. Needs a chord change. Way to. No, I think it is. Can't decide. I can't decide here. I think it is a way. I just got to give it a bit more time to sink in. Time I knew another way to be. It's sort of ending now, the verse there. It's sort of an end. You don't need all this now. Right? To live your life, sorrow, there was a time. All right, so practice that. So we're on to live your life, sorrow. So we're on E. I like that. It's 5/5. Six and the 7. I'm going to bring these back. So we're just going to fill in a few more melody. -5. -5 to the 3. Oh, we're going to put a 3 there. Did I get rid of the 3? Oh, shit. Introduction. So introduction, we need a chord to start off. We don't have this 5 here. To live your life of sorrow. There. All right, we're now going to practice that because we're going sorrow, and we're coming down again. There was a there. So you're getting your muscle memory in your remembering that note, right? There was a time I knew another way to be. So you can also correct it with the melodic rhythm you choose, because that it's going to add as well where you're going to pause it. So once you work out what notes you want and the words and the chords, you can now sort of muck around a little bit with the melodic rhythm to see. I knew. It sort of works with the words anyway, the melodic rhythm. You're going to get it fitting in. Another way to. So some say that's going to come faster, right? Another way to be. Yeah, so that has to be faster there. Time. So we're on there. There was a time I knew. Where are we? So we're up high. Another way to be. That's it. So yeah, so that's just going to be faster. Way to be. Oh yeah, D minor with a -7. That is definitely bridgy stuff. Bridgy territory there. So a lot of the inspiration is once you start practicing the verse, it will inspire you to just flow it into the bridge. And you see, you're developing in your brain, you actually have the next chord where you want the song to go by practicing this. And you'll find a lot of the times that the first couple chords or so is going to be a bit easier. So you just practice the first verse a few times and get it perfect to what you want it. Sorrow. there was a... So that bit there is sort of the highlight, sort of where it will sort of lift up in the composition. You can think of the instrumentation now, so you have it in your head. So I've got to scratch my back. Could bring my back scratcher. There was a time I knew oh shit, we're on the 2, right? To the 5, we're going to the 5. Another 5, 6. Another way to be. So this sounds like a musical. A lot of my pieces end up sounding like musicals, but that's okay. Another way to be, but in the end, but in the end, but I hate the word but. I'm going to change that. But in the end, I just don't like the word but in a song. All right. Come on, you. Another way to be. Now is the time. Now is fine. Just change that. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. So now is the time. So this is the G. Now is the time. So you just muck around, right? G4 maybe. So we always start with, I always start with a skeleton. You can, it's giving you a direction of a song. Every song has a skeleton. You rip away all the melody and it's just the note. Oh no, I don't like that though, going to there. And you can really, you're listening just for that change to see if it's going to work, if you like it. I think I'm going to go to the 5 there. I'm not going to do an anchor on there. I'm just going to go 5. So that's 7, E minor 7. We'll do an E minor now. Back with a minor 7. So we'll shove that there like that. Now is the time when all is. Yeah, definitely. I'll put it up here. 1 and minor 7. That's in the wrong spot. When all is new. I don't know if the words mean anything yet. When all is new. I have to change this. Does this make any sense? To live your life sorrow, there was a time I knew another way to be. That makes perfect sense. That's the way to be. So now is the time when all is new. Well, I've got the chord here. It's in my head. Now is the time when -7 when all is what's the mode? When all is now is the time when all is when all is so now is the time when all is new. What's the chord it's going to? When all is it sort of now is the time when all the E minor has to come first here. Like that. Now is the time when all is new, when all is. Oh, what's it going to? I can hear it. Oh, fucking back. Get my back scratch up. There was a time I knew sorrow. Glasses. I might need to make a coffee. So, bridge. Now is the time. Oh, let's do this. To live your life sorrow. Same note. There was a time I knew another way to be. It can be a bit faster. Way to be. when all is new, when all is new. What does it go to? When all is new, when all is. It's going. When all is new, when all is new. Now is the time. Now is the time. When all is new, when all is. Where's it going down to? What's when all is new? When all is. Oh, I can't get it. It's in my head, but I don't know where it is. When all. Now is the time. When all is. When all is. All is new. When all is. When all is new. Oh, it goes when all is new, but new. So now is the time. Maybe that time it should be a 6 there. Now is the time. When all. So we'll do that. Now is the. So it's going to go 1 to the -7 here as well. So it's actually going to repeat the same melody. Now is the time. Now is the time. When all is. When all is. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, sorry. Now is the time. 6. When all is. You could even do that. When all is new. When all is. New. Now is the time. When all is new. When all is. No, it doesn't go back to. Where's it going? What's the chord? Is it a new chord? What is it? When all is new. When all is new. The time. Is it back to G? When not A minor. Where's the time? Oh, it is A minor. A minor, minor 3. Far out. I would pick that one. So why did that take so long? It was in my head somewhere. So now is the time. No, where are we? D minor. Now is the time. Ah, now is the time. When all is new. Of course. Of course, we're going on A minor. These have to be in bold. All right. Do 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 do. Oh, but do the words make sense? I knew time I knew. So, a time I knew, time I knew. On same note. Time I knew. No, it's not you. Another. So, way to be. Now is the time when all is lost. When was the time when all was lost? When was, so it's when, oh, for fuck's sake, when was the time? When was the time? E minor. When all was lost, like that. Nice, nice, I think. Do 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 do, when all was lost. Tilly, Bobo. Okay, what do we got? Verse 1. Okay, so we're starting on E. To live your life, sorrow. There was a time I knew another way to be. When was the fall? When was the time? When was the time? But another time to time. We're using time twice. I knew another way to be. Why was the fall? Why was the fall? Why was the fall? Then we don't have a thing about time. Why was the fall? Asking a question. Oh. When all was lost. Oh, the one. Okay. Why was the fall? When all was lost. Oh, that's really nice. I really like that. All right. That's sort of, is that a bridge? I don't know whether that's more part of the verse. Why was the fall when all was lost? bit of an uplifting now. F 1 1 1 1 7 5. So F 1 1 7 5. Do 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 do. Do that a few times. We can change it to something else there. Bold. Publish. Okay. No, we want to all right. That can still be. This is the bridge, so that can be still part of the. So it'll look like a change. We'll make that the bridge. All right. It can still be. That can be part of the verse, I suppose. G7. So it's going to be the same note, sort of note. G7. G is it's on the -7. -7 to 6. God, it's bloody hot. 12:09. It gets hot in this part of the time of the day. I'm going to have to call it a quits because it just gets too hot in this stupid bloody thing. And my internet's not working in my down in the other location. All right, I'm going to have to close it. How do we stop streaming?